All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Rich CELENZA show. So, I think I'm going to call this podcast is We're Always Trying to Impress Someone. And it sounds kind of crazy, but I think to a certain degree that's kind of true. And I heard that today. I watch a lot of sports, and they were talking about, players impressing their coaches and things in that nature. And then it kind of hit me, and I said, you know what? I don't care if you're an athlete or not. Whatever whatever you do in your life, a lot of times you may be doing things to impress others. And that could be even in your relationship. It could be your siblings, your parents. It could be your boss, obviously. It could be your coworkers. It could be whatever the case may be. I get it. I even look at it from, am I creating a YouTube channel to impress others of my knowledge, or a podcast, I should say, or both, right? Am I doing that to kind of show off my knowledge? I never looked at it from that perspective, but I'm sure there's something behind that. I just didn't know it at this point in time. Because I actually thought, or I think I was kind of the opposite. I kind of got burnt out with everybody. And the only person, not even myself, I wasn't out to impress myself, but I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to do it for any other reason, but for the sake of doing it. And a lot of times I'm more about the content than I am about money, which sometimes can definitely get in the way. I definitely want to express my opinions more than I am worried about what other people are going to think of me, or how it's going to affect others, or even a career in the future, or how people are going to perceive me, whatever the case may be. For the most part, I don't give a shit. I truly am somebody who, will address what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, and call myself out on a lot of craziness. I don't care if it's talking about my insecurities. I don't care if I'm talking about my failures. I've always tried to be, hopefully you know me, as genuine as I can. That doesn't mean I'm perfect. That doesn't mean I haven't hidden things in the past that I don't want maybe other people to know about. I think for the most part, I also want, there are things that are private to me that are none of your business, and vice versa. Obviously, there's tons of people out there that I don't know about, nor should I. And it's, again, none of my business. But in this situation, to impress others, I think a lot of us have to think about is, why are we doing what we're doing? Because a lot of times I think we're doing shit for the wrong reasons. And a lot of it, again, isn't trying to impress somebody else. For what reason, I don't always understand. Now, I get, again, if you have a job, you want to impress your boss, you want to make more money, your coworkers, or, even if you're online, you want to impress somebody and get more likes, more followers, more subscribers, whatever. I get all that too. And there's kind of a reason why you're doing that to a certain point. But I also think a lot of times we get caught up trying to impress others where there's really not that much, there's not much to benefit from it. Especially if you're in sometimes relationships, I think. And I think a lot of us get caught in a situation where we're always trying to impress somebody else. It could be even financially or just other things. And, you just got to eventually, in my opinion, is just chill the fuck out. And just do things for the sake of wanting to do them. Not for the sake, or not for anything else. If you want to do something, and here's the thing, I run into tons of people, because I've written a couple books, tons of people saying they have to write a book. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, you wrote a book, and then I get credibility, and people think I'm an expert. And I understand all those things too. But are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it to impress others? Because I think when you look at the end result a lot of times, and because I've already maybe been through it, most people, at least in the United States, they read less than one book a year. Also, I don't care if you're published or you're self-publishing. For the most part, I think the average book being sold, if you're a nobody, I'm saying, not if you're well-known or you're, if you're somebody who's on television or you're a famous actor or politician, whatever, I think it's around 200 books. That's it. Books take a long time to write. It could be numerous. It could be, for some people, it could maybe take a year, but I'd say it's around 2 or 3 years from top to bottom, in my opinion. That's what I went through. It may take you 10 years to write a book. I don't know. But at the end, was it worth it? And again, I'm not telling you not to write a book. I'm just trying to say what you're doing again. Is it for the right reason? And what's kind of the payoff? sometimes I even blow that. I'm like, am I doing this to impress somebody individually, or am I doing this to impress my fan base, or am I kind of lost here? And I find myself lost all the time regarding this to a certain degree. But I do know, or I have this, I guess you could say, this self-awareness now that I'm older to say, I'm doing this because I want to do it. And I'm doing it because I have the confidence in myself to go after what I want to go after. It's not a lot of bullshit also tied into it. Even when I started my YouTube channel, for instance, I didn't even pay attention to that for the first year. You may say I'm foolish, but I didn't. I just did it as a fun hobby thing. I didn't even look at the analytics, honestly, up until a few months ago, and I've had that thing almost 2 years. And I look at myself and say, are you foolish? Because, you know, if you were looking at the analytics, you'd start to really see what type of videos are they looking at. You know, what's getting the most exposure. It gives you everything to break down your age demographic, male, female. I mean, we could go on and on. Even every social media outlet, who's watching it. And, you know, I just did my YouTube channel to help people or show them something that maybe they never saw before. I really didn't think about it legit anything but that. And maybe that's a weakness, but I did it for the sake of just doing it. I didn't do it, let's say, start a YouTube channel to say, hey, this is going to be something I'm going to be doing for a living. If you want to do that, wonderful. But my point being is I just did it because that's where my energy led me. I didn't do it for any other reason. And eventually it did lead into something a lot bigger than I thought it was, even my podcast, because a lot of times you start stuff and you hear about, you'll get thousands of subscribers or you get millions of views or whatever the case may be. I really didn't think anybody necessarily really gave a shit about what I had to say, and I still don't to a certain degree. But obviously that I'm wrong to a certain degree, but I just want to do it because I'm doing it, and I feel comfortable doing it. Now, I may stop doing it, but, if you're somebody out there, sometimes that, a lot of times too is you only do things to impress others. Impress yourself. Like, just go do something for yourself. Because I think a lot of people do have a problem. Now, if it is writing a book for yourself and that's going to give you self-gratification, that is wonderful. I'm the last person to tell anybody to stop doing anything in their life. I want you to go after whatever you want to go after. But I do think sometimes, like I was saying earlier, we do things to impress others. And after a while, that seems like we kind of fall into a rhythm where that's all we're kind of doing. What about you? What do you just want to do for you? Because I see it even on social media where, people are doing all these things in all the time, and which is great. But a lot of times I'm like, what else are they doing? Like, it's just how I look at it. Are they doing things even privately that is making them happy, or working on things that they want to work on just as an individual, I guess you could say. So just something I was thinking about. All right, I am going to wrap it up there. If you get a chance, what do I got here? My website, richcelenza.com. I have a program, Mastering Self-Confidence, where I try to help men find the woman or women of their dreams. Even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. And I'm on YouTube. Obviously, I just discussed that. I'm starting to get a lot of views on there. And if you have any questions or comments, hit me up. I love helping people. And especially if you kind of want to just break out of the norm a little bit and ask me whatever the hell you want. I don't take anything personal. I'm not afraid to answer any question for the most part. I will say I'm not into politics, and I'm not going to start getting involved with religion, so that one I wouldn't. But if it's, or I should say investing, I'm not some guru in stock markets or even real estate. But anything else, I try to help people. I don't care if it's fitness, I don't care if it's hygiene, identity, wardrobe, things in that nature, or just kind of common sense type things that I've been through, especially after creating many different things throughout my life, not only from books to movies, but programs and a clothing line, say, for instance, and a lot of different websites, and being in many different style businesses as well. So, all right, take care, and I wish you nothing but the best.